Oh, I guess we're live.
All Snapple, we are live. Which
Welcome
pack is this?
everybody to the I don't even have a name for this show, but we have some very special people talking about San Diego Comic-Con 2019. Introduce yourselves.
Ladies first.
Oh, hi, I'm KJ. Ready to chat up about some San Diego Comic-Con.
And from the depths, if you follow anything in geekdom, this is Rico, your chic of geek, from Geek Wars on Facebook and also for my blog spot. So I'll throw all that other stuff at the end. So I'll let Max Prime run the show.
And this is Max Prime. We're on YouTube Live, and we're going to discuss all the events of San Diego Comic-Con 2019. This is the last day, day 4. And we're going to just kind of recap everything that's happened for the past since preview night Wednesday all the way up until last night, which was I call Marvel night. So where do we begin? Like, where do we start off?
This has basically been like the mecca of geekdom for all of us out here who actually don't know too much about all the ins and outs of Marvel comics, movies, TV shows. It's been like what we wait for every year to see what's coming up for the next year. So Max Prime, what do you think? Do you want to start off with some random trailers that came out?
Yeah, we can start with the random trailers. Let's start with I know a couple of friends of mine were talking about Terminator. Actually, when that Terminator trailer is it Terminator Dark Fate?
Dark Fate.
Yeah. And of course, there's been a lot of controversy with Dark Fate because I think after the trailer hit San Diego, they announced that the original John Connor would actually be in Terminator Dark Fate. And I guess there's just like a lot of talk because, there's been so many Terminator movies before this one, like Genesis. All those movies don't count anymore because, they kind of scrapped it. And we're pretending like after Terminator 2, this is, the movie. So
basically, Control-Alt-Delete is what they did.
Yes.
Which I did with my memory of those last couple. But I'm sorry, I digress. So, KJ, I'm going to ask you a question, if you don't mind me jumping in here.
Okay.
Did you see the trailer yet for any of the new movies for Terminator?
No, I sure haven't.
Okay. I was curious on that. I don't try to put you on the spot when I ask you that question because not everyone has. But it does introduce the original Sarah Connor. Yeah, Linda Hamilton. Good old the Governor himself, which I don't understand why they can never make a Terminator movie without Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he's there. Whatever. Max Prime, what'd you think of it?
Wait, what was the question? Arnold Schwarzenegger seat? What?
Quick thought of the trailer you saw.
I was kind of confused with like the liquid. Is he like liquid Terminator who can like? He was like. Did you even see that where it was a scene where I think it was like Sarah Connor and it was like a highway scene and this like liquid?
I don't know. They did they steal like nanites from Tony Stark? I don't know.
That was my only like question. I was like, wow. I was like, how did that like evolve from? I think he was like cloning himself or something like that into like more. I don't know. It was weird. Like,
one question I have is just that and I hope I don't sound like a sexist dude, but does Linda Hamilton always look like that, or did they make her look older for this movie? Because she looked like she's been in the sun for a minute. Like she's been out like training in the desert. What I'm saying,
maybe.
I'm just saying she looked like she could be out there, doing push-ups in the desert and like waiting for a new Terminator to show up. I'm just asking questions. I mean, has anyone seen her lately? She does look kind of older.
As soon as we end here.
Okay, we'll check it out. Okay, my first real quick reaction is just that I thought that. Oh, here we go again. I like a lot of fandom out there. I kind of lost interest, real interest anyway, after the second one. I saw the third. I was like, whatever. When Christian Bale got involved, I was like, oh, okay, got hopeful. But yeah, it's kind of like it's one of those things. Just like the Terminator won't die for whatever reason, whether they should or not, in my opinion. I don't know if bringing these guys back helped, but it's happening whether we want to or not. I'm sure they're gonna get money out of it. And someone's got to support like the Arnold Schwarzenegger retirement fund.
Well, how about one that I liked? I like the Star Trek Picard trailer. I'm super excited. I come from a Star Trek family. We watched that as a family growing up, so I'm very excited for that one. I'm sure my mom is as well. So, any highlights there, Max?
Actually, yeah, I used to watch Star Trek: The Next Generation with Picard a lot. You know, as a kid, and before I even got to uh, the other, you know, like Star Trek Voyager. For me, watching that trailer, like it just, I was like, wow, it's taking me back. And then actually seeing like 7 of 9 in the trailer with Picard, like that was like a moment for me. I'm like, whoa, 7 of 9. That's crazy.
That's awesome. That was
I couldn't remember her exact number. I knew it was something out of something, but I was like, is it 6 of 8? What was it again? 7 of 9?
Yeah, and Data too. I mean, this is exciting. I'm very excited.
I got goosebumps right now. You can't see it on the video, but you guys are talking about it, naming it, and Data. I'm like, yo, I'm excited. I was never a big fan of the original series. I mean, I don't know if that's heresy in my group of Trekkie friends or whatever, but I really got into the Next Generation. It kind of like they actually had legit physicists like actually commentate on the show and help them with some of the things. So it didn't sound like they were just making up things and putting like, I don't know, a wig on a freaking dog and saying it's an alien instead of like the original a couple times. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Picard. I mean, is anybody arguing that he's the best Starfleet commander?
No.
I mean, I probably should.
I mean, Jake's pretty amazing too, talking about Voyager. So I don't know.
Wait.
Yeah, I got you. I hear what you're saying.
Wait, so you're saying he trumps Captain Kirk?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Not like, I mean, like, you know, the original, you know, Kirk, you know, like from, you know, where they're traveling to planets and not just like floating in space all the time, like every episode in the space station.
Let me tell you something. Something about that Earl Grey, just Earl Grey tea, took over somehow Starfleet and made it awesome. I'm just gonna throw that out there. He just knows how to carry himself, and you know, he looks old, but he's raw. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I expected him when I first saw him. This is feeble old guy. He's probably gonna be dead by the time before he gets to the freaking past the moon and stuff, whatever, because time travel, whatever. But he's a man, bro.
I love it.
He didn't have to lean every time there was something like that was a special effect. So, granted, Shatner had to deal with technology at the time. So, but I think that a combination of the way he delivered, being a classical actor, and also it happened to be technology caught up with the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a great combination right there.
What else? What other trailers, Max?
Let's see.
Oh, geez.
Terminator. There's Star Trek. Did anybody watch the Watchmen trailer?
You know, I missed that trailer only because of the fact that I was worried. I was worried that I was going to miss a lot of other things going on in San Diego, and I read about it like it was happening, and I don't know. I'm torn. Just my general thing. But you've seen it, so you tell us what were your impressions of it? Is it worth seeing? Does it live up to the hype?
It lives up to the hype. And only because it kind of feeds the curiosity of the fans of like the Watchmen graphic novel for years, because we never really truly knew the events after what happened. If you are under a rock, you would not know the end. If you never read the Watchmen or watched the Watchmen movie, obviously you know how the story ends. Where we know that the world would soon know that Ozymandias obviously killed everybody compared to Dr. Manhattan. And so this is finally it kind of like, it's not exactly like how Jeff Johns planned Doomsday Clock, which was supposed to be the answer to that question, what happened after. And the show actually takes a little bit different turn. Like the show, well, actually, it might be similar to Doomsday Clock, because the trailer it just shows like the after that world, and one of the things that I liked seeing in that trailer was like an old Ozymandias celebrating his birthday by himself. And it shows like he must have been in hiding for like years, and he has like a nice like birthday cake that's just like yellow and purple, like the colors of his old superhero outfit. And he's just like, blowing out his own candles and stuff.
Any other mutant big giant cats?
Yeah.
And then there's like a teaser that like Dr. Manhattan is back, but like he's like on Mars, just hanging out again, I guess, or something, or like he's back. Like, remember, Dr. Manhattan left the universe basically for another universe, but now he's back in that world.
The emo god himself.
Yes. And
For someone who wasn't really emotional, he kind of acted emotional. Like, I'm going to go on a, I don't know, a temper tantrum to Mars. Just saying. I don't know. Even though I could destroy everything, but whatever. KJ, were you a fan of the movie or the series at all by any chance?
Not especially. Sorry. Another one I'm like slacking on.
Oh, you never seen it, or you just weren't a fan of it?
No, I haven't seen it. So
Whoa.
what?
I know. Don't take my geek card away, please.
I'm going to say it's 2019. It's made its way around the pay channels. There were avenues of getting it. I'm just saying.
Watchmen is on Netflix, by the way.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Just
noted.
Just want to help you out. Now, I also did want to say, since we're talking about trailers that came out, and maybe something I think we all probably had at least some experience with, The Walking Dead. Now, there was two different ones there. There was two different ones. One was for the movie, and there was also one for the season 10. So, KJ, I'll start with you because I'm pretty sure you've watched this.
I have.
Tell me your impressions of season 10's trailer, please.
I am super excited about season 10, although Michonne is one of my favorites. And of course, that's dropped that this is her last season. So I'm pretty bummed about that. I don't know what happens after Michonne because I feel like she's kind of carrying the show right now, quite frankly. I love all the actors, and I mean no disrespect. I just think that she's a standout amongst
Max Prime, real quick question. Are we doing spoilers for this?
Yeah, go ahead. Spoiler.
Is there a spoiler alert we can throw out right now?
I guess. Yeah, keep going. Just go all out.
Mike, I have one big question. What the heck was that with Michonne and the King?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo, there was some dreadlock love going on there for a second there. I don't know. I'm like, yo, whatever happened with Carol and Daryl were up there on the motorcycle riding off into the sunset somewhere, and then you got the King and yo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but I
don't know. Everything was going crazy. You got Jerry in the Shazam movie. I don't know. Maybe everything changed.
It's awesome.
That is awesome. Now, Max, are you a Walking Dead fan per se, or you just didn't pay attention? You don't care?
I am a Walking Dead fan. I kind of stopped after Rick's death, honestly. Like once Rick died, and then when they did the time jump, I was like, ugh. And then I watched one episode after, and then I kind of stopped, like, because I was like, I don't know, like it just didn't feel the same for me. And
so your enthusiasm died with the Rick-tatorship?
And then when they quietly exited Maggie out of the whole entire show without saying a word, like nobody even knew that she was just like gone. They just erased her. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy.
I did read something that they're trying to write her back into the show. I heard, like yesterday, I literally read something that they're trying to figure out a way to make it organically. How do you make it organically in a zombie / Western, if you want to call it that? I don't know.
Exactly.
All right. Well, okay. Well, how about that movie tease? The Walking Dead tease.
Awful.
Talk about it, KJ.
So what happened, I did not realize when, I think you even posted it, Rico. I think that's when your post that I saw. And I did not realize it was a teaser. So I was so disappointed. Like, what the heck?
Sorry.
No, I'm so used to the teaser trailers now. And I don't know how I missed that it was a teaser, but I was super, super angry about that.
It was almost worth it. It probably took more time for them to to do a production value as opposed to just write a graphic saying, it's going to be Rick Grimes in the movie. That's the only way you'll see him. Bye. Like somebody got paid a budget to put that thing together, a teaser trailer. And I'm like, really? This is what you spent your money on?
I seen like people's reactions online not really liking that whole movie idea. At first, everybody was like all for the Walking Dead movie, but now they're not like really feeling it at all. I don't know why. Like, well, I mean, I can see why now that they announced Michonne leaving. Like, I'm telling you, like, I think like people really have this like feeling that the shows is kind of like slowly going down. And then when they announced the whole comic book coming to an end, the comic book ended, and now you're gonna have that
rather quietly too.
like that. Yeah, like and I think they questioned like Kirkman about him ending The Walking Dead in the comics, like at San Diego Comic-Con. And so you kind of have a feeling like, okay, how much longer is the show gonna go on? How many more seasons can it go?
Yeah, I mean, my contention, and I kind of just obviously I talk to geeks. That's my living, right? That's what I do all the time. Go figure. That's why I'm the Sheikah geek. But I guess the general overall consensus, and you can speak to this, KJ, if you tell me if this makes sense. What made it great is that it built up after when it first started, and you got emotionally involved with people. Like, okay, that's my favorite. I got these people. He kind of got like 65 years, not exaggerating, but obviously, backstory. And then you got invested, and then all of a sudden, of course, they're going to cut them off at the knees, sometimes literally, whatever they had to do. But here, it's like it's almost like a fast food version of it. Lately, it's been for the past couple of seasons where they introduce new characters. You say, oh, they're going to interact with this person. They're dead, and you don't quite feel as bad. Is that kind of make sense, or do you agree with that?
It feels like a long series where they introduce a character just to kill them off. So I think I don't know if that's what you're getting at, but it's definitely the way it kind of feels.
They almost feel like they're the red shirts from Star Trek sometimes.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair.
See how I tied it back to Star Trek? It always comes back.
That's right. That's fun.
But yeah, I mean that was my quick thing. I mean, as far as that goes, yeah, that's pretty much. You can't really go too much further with Walking Dead as far as from what we saw from the trailers.
Right.
Right.
I agree. So what other movies? Are we going to talk Cats? No, I guess we already talked
Oh my
Cats.
God.
I'm so excited for that one.
I think this is going to be a one-woman conversation with Cats.
Creepy.
Okay. All I'm going to say is James Corden in the trailer, whatever, was amazing, and I cannot wait to see him. That's it.
That's for the remix with Anthony Bernard from The Office doing the Cats like he did in the show.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I'm good with that.
The Animorph is really kind of creepy. I'm just saying, like that's what everybody keeps talking. Like they're just freaked out by no.
I think this is just a cautionary tale against making a live-action Thundercats movie. But hey, we all interpret it a little differently, right? So I'm just saying.
That's awesome. Oh,
avoid the tails. We are missing one movie that trailer that came out that I kind of was marking out personally. Top Gun Maverick.
Yes. Okay, so 3 years ago, everybody was talking about this, right? And I thought it was fake because I try not to get excited about such things. And then literally
Urban legend.
Someone was talking about this. I thought, no, this isn't real. And then of course it is. So I don't know how I missed that it's actually happening, but I'm super excited.
Max, talk to me. What did you think of the Maverick reveal trailer?
Well, when Tom Cruise showed up at San Diego and he just like walked across the stage and everybody went nuts, and so that, everybody was kind of anticipating the whole Maverick or Top Gun, and then the trailer was actually really good, like just to see how what it's supposed to be like 30 years later, he should be the like I just love the trailer, like he should be like like general, and he's still a captain, and he's the last of his breed, and as a fighter pilot, and I kind of like that, like seemed really cool.
I was wondering, I almost felt like they were going to lead to something where he was going to fight drones or something. They kept making him out to be this old fossil. You know what I mean? Because he came out and he looked actually kind of older for Tom Cruise in this movie. I mean, in this trailer, rather. Usually, they do everything to make him look like he's going to run somewhere. I didn't see him run anywhere in this movie, by the way. Which urban legend has it, he runs in every movie he's in. But hey, it's Top Gun, right? But I was surprised. I thought they were going to make it into like they're trying to replace the Navy pilots with like drones or kids with joysticks somewhere playing Xbox or something, and he was going to have to prove them wrong, because he has to show them the need for speed. But overall, I mean, the kid in me who wanted that bomber jacket and wanted to be on a motorcycle and chill and run all over the place and race jets, because that makes sense, was all over it. So I just liked it just from a geek standpoint of marking out to childhood favorite movie.
Is that the first one we're all three excited for?
I don't know. Picard got some good
Picard. Okay.
Yeah, I'm for Picard. Yeah.
You're pro Picard?
Yeah.
Hashtag pro Picard. Let's get it going.
Do that 3 times fast. All right. So as far as the, if you want to call it the miscellaneous version part of this conversation, anything else that you think we should jump in before we jump into the obvious?
Can I say Bill and Ted 3? I'm excited for this.
You know, go ahead. Tell me your thoughts on it.
It was way too long of a pause, Rico.
I was trying to be polite. I was trying not to be a jerk. I was trying to ride the conversation. But tell me about what are you looking forward to seeing?
Okay.
Obviously, Keanu.
Keanu is like so everything right now. And I think that this is just another piece of his moment. So, you know, I'm pro Keanu as well. Hashtag pro Keanu, hashtag pro Picard. So I'm just excited for him and his moment, and he's spreading the love, I guess. So I love
this
it.
This is the summer of Keanu. I don't think actually you could probably argue 2019 is Keanu's year. I mean, he's low key urban legend status anyway before this year started, but it's gone ridiculous this year.
Yes.
I mean, I just don't see where they're gonna. I mean, I'm sure they'll figure something to explain it, but you know, I see kids today that don't even know what a phone booth is. So
I know, that's the best part. I'm so excited.
I don't know. I just didn't see that there was a need. I don't know. I don't know. I'm on this big money grab type tirade lately about movies and comic books.
That's fair.
Like, you just make it to make money, man, because I'm, you know, that geek elite, you know, whatever guy, whatever. But Max.
And like you're saying, the childhood nostalgia though, because I really like these. This is one of those movies that my brothers and I would watch over and over again. So it brings back a little childhood. So
I mean, I thought the first one was good for the time. I don't know. Bill and Ted 2 was really necessary. You can argue it wasn't even necessary.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong?
How many times can you say whoa?
His head over there.
I'm sorry, Max. I didn't mean to overwrite you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say no. I was more kind of excited for the. I'm gonna bring up the miscellaneous, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, because it's basically and essentially the same movie as the first.
So is this more money grab, Rico, or are you okay with this one?
Money grab to a certain extent. The only thing I'll say about it is because Kevin Smith's involved, I'm optimistic. Because he feeds the geek. What's the word I'm looking for? He feeds us geeks what we want, even when we don't know we want it. A lot of nostalgia. All of the stuff is that he brings us out all this stuff about his previous movies, little Easter eggs that everybody's been begging for, and at least you know when he makes it, it's a passion project. I mean, he's the biggest like uber geek himself. I mean,
True.
He can make his own movie, The Calf of himself, and would probably say, you know what, I want to see that movie and see how it became a thing. And it probably have a lot of, you know, fart and dick jokes.
Probably.
And somebody will say, you know what, I agree. So Max, go right ahead. I'm sorry, I'm kind of dominating some things. I don't like to do that on your show.
Let me think. Okay, so we'll want to go to TV then.
Okay.
Before we go to the big, the big news.
All right. Am I the only one, by the way, who's sad by the big news they made from Marvel? Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be done after this season. After next season, rather. Season 7. They are done.
So
I'll throw that to Carissa because I have no opinion on that show. And go.
Do you see? I have all the Marvel stuff, and Max has all the DC stuff.
And I'm Switzerland. I'm just in the middle to think, okay, I'll play nice. Go ahead.
I think it's kind of one of the. It's the same thing that where they were slowly losing viewers. I think it's always been a piece that's kind of woven everything together. So I always appreciated that about it. But I can understand, viewership is down, or they're gonna do something with Disney Plus, right? With all that streaming service coming soon, so there'll be so much there that I don't even know if it's gonna be missed or if it'll be kind of.
Well, I'm one of the few people that's been watching it from the very beginning that I know of, anyway. That have been watching it just faithfully because I'm like, give him a chance because the promise was it would interact with the rest of the Marvel universe, right? And so the problem with that was that show started before Kevin Feige took over. So the whole big hot take from this I'm getting is, okay, Kevin Feige wasn't involved with it, so he couldn't really tie the movies directly into it because he had a different idea where it was supposed to go.
Right.
And so now it's like, hey, by the way, since we're going to our new thing, we're doing this new phase, we kind of have to control alt delete on everything anyway. Oh, let's just start something new over there. Unfortunately, I don't hear any plans of them doing anything with the show per se directly. But then again, they may do something with the Defenders for all we know.
Right.
We don't know. I mean, yeah. So that's one thing I took away from TV shows this week. Max, I know you got some DC things going on.
With the CW, there was a lot of news with, first of all, we're going to start with Brandon Routh, because Brandon Routh, remember, I think on Friday had like one of the biggest little teases for everybody at San Diego. He was not only announcing that he would reprise his role as Superman for the Crisis of Infinite Earths this fall, but the particular Superman that he's actually going to play is the Kingdom Come Superman, which the fans were just absolutely like, they loved it. And again, Kingdom Come, awesome graphic novel. I call that the sad Superman. That's the Superman who, has lost everything, doesn't really care. And and that's just totally awesome. And Brandon Routh actually gets a chance to kind of like redeem himself for his, Superman.
Yeah.
He's going to redeem a Superman with the other Superman. Gotcha.
Yes.
What did you think about that, KJ?
I'm excited. I think him playing any version of Superman is amazing. I think that's the one thing DC and Marvel did so differently that I think Marvel did right, quite frankly, when they do keep the characters from the shows the same as the movies. But anyway, that's just
I initially was like, really? But then when my initial 5 seconds of elitism and comic books crap, my baggage wore off, I was like, you know what? It's a multiverse. What am I freaking out about? What do I care? They're gonna just make a big story of different versions of other people anyway. Let them have fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I kind of don't understand why they're not really showing much of him at being his character in Legends anymore. Really, he's not really the Atom per se. Yeah. He's kind of walking around being himself.
Scientist.
Yeah. Basically, being a goofy guy that has a bromance with Steel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's his character anymore, which, okay, it's fine, but I kind of just didn't understand why they don't have him doing Atom, which is basically comes off as more Iron Man than Atom anymore, but
yeah,
I digress. I know there's other things going on with DC, Max, right?
So Batwoman. Batwoman is a new show that comes out this fall. Is there Ruby Rose? Is that her name?
That's her name. Yep.
And so they announced they showed the Batwoman trailer, and one of the big topics that came out of that one was that one of the main villains in Batwoman will be Hush from Batman. Tommy Elliott, I believe. Yeah, Hush. He's going to actually be one of the main villains in Batwoman this season. So I'm really excited for that show. Just to cut away from Batwoman, they released the Flash trailer yesterday, and they released the Arrow trailer, which I didn't get a chance to see the Arrow trailer, but I heard some things. I don't know if Chris, if you've seen that or not.
Well, I'm obsessed with Stephen Amell, so I know why you're asking me. I am less excited about Arrow as we move forward for obvious reasons, but I am excited about Batwoman, and Ruby Rose is going to be amazing.
Hey, by the way, a quick question for you, Max. You mentioned Hush. Are they not? Did I hear right? They're actually coming out with the animated version of Hush, aren't they?
Yes, and there's already a little bit of I wouldn't say controversy, but I've been reading I don't think DC actually. How do I say this? You know how usually the animateds from DC are usually pretty accurate, pretty on point for from comic books to the animated movies. But for some reason, I think that the Hush story, they left a little bit of the story out of the animated movie. And I know one scene particularly, one of my favorite scenes is where there's Clayface. Clayface turns into Jason Todd, like the old, the Jason Todd with the gray streak, and he has Tim Drake like in a headlock, and Batman thinks that it's, Jason Todd coming back from the dead. Because at that time in DC, that was like before Red Hood's reappearance. So they cut that out of the animated movie for some reason. I don't know why. And people are kind of complaining about that there's no Jason Todd or that Tim Drake moment. So,
wow.
And that was pretty big, man, because that was towards the end of the, that story. And then we, get the tease that, Jason Todd was really still alive and stuff. So I don't know.
When it comes to DC, I'm pretty sure everybody already knows that Max Prime knows.
Yeah. And so beyond the Hush animated, so they also announced that they're going to do the Man of Tomorrow animated movie from DC. And they announced that they're going to do, I believe it was Red Sun Superman.
Yes, I was waiting for you to say it. I wanted you to bring it up.
Yes, Red Sun Superman and the Man of Tomorrow. Very excited to see Red Sun animated movie. I love that story. That's like one of the greatest stories I've ever read.
Red Sun was amazing. And I will credit Max Prime because he turned me on to that years ago when it came out. And he knew I was just messing with him, calling him a DC drone at the time. But he brought to me the comics and let me read it. I'm like, holy crap, this is actually pretty cool. Even Hal Jordan came out as cool as some hothead pilot type dude. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So as far as that goes, KJ, thoughts on that? Did you get a chance to know anything about the Red Sun storyline or anything like that?
I know what Max tells me, and I know that if Max likes it, it's good. So.
Oh, I got endorsement finally. Yes.
I would say that's a dangerous proposition there. Okay. Just don't ask me about, you know who I'm saying, Booster Gold. Anyway, but whatever. Oh my gosh, he's going to the archives. I'm sure right now he's going over to get some kind of figure. He probably has a Booster Gold, like, I don't know, like actual like whatever. He probably has Booster Gold under his scroll, but I don't want to see that on here.
Hashtag pro Booster Gold.
Well, okay. Let me just little backstory on this. It's just that, okay, we always joke around between him and myself about the concept of time travel as a plot point, and how I always say that it's basically been done to death on certain levels, but that's Booster Gold's whole thing. So I'm trying to be not a jerk about it, but somehow Legends Tomorrow makes it work.
Show us, Max, what you got.
Hold on, wait.
Oh Lord,
this is like a big reveal.
He's probably got he probably changes his middle name legally to like Max Booster Gold Prime.
I think so.
He probably has the documentation of it. He comes out with a scroll. It's like a legal parchment from Florida. Courthouse sketch. But whatever. Oh my God, I'm almost scared to ask what the heck he's going. But anyway. But as far as that goes, I mean, I always just thought that the versions of Superman that were the best probably Kingdom Come, like you were saying, and also Superman Red Sun, arguably some of the best work. And sometimes people can take Superman for granted, and because he's the archetype. And oh my God, there he is,
front and center.
Freaking Booster,
the greatest, the greatest superhero the world has never heard of. I'm put him back here behind me.
Unfortunately, I have. I have to give him shit.
There we go.
Ironically, I kind of like his buddy Booster. I mean, Booster Gold was a buddy, Blue Beetle. Go figure. Oh. Why are they not doing anything with him? But that's another tirade. I don't know if you want to get into that right now.
Yeah, I was going to say briefly. I mean, I think they were considering doing the Jamie Ray's Blue Beetle movie, which we're talking about. But hopefully,
maybe it's a Latino on me, but I like that version much better than the Ted Kord version.
Every time I hear Ted Kord, I just think of like gunshot to the head. Like every time, there's always a reference to him getting shot in the head. So that's every time I hear Ted Kord's name. Kord is gunshot.
It's always like a background element in Arrow, the TV show. They're always looking at Kord Industries. Yeah, and I keep looking at Wifey and I'm like, hey, they're talking about. Oh, you don't even know who he is. They ain't even talking about Blue Beetle, but all right, whatever. Which I'm surprised. But there is one other show from DC Comics that CW addressed, Supergirl.
Yes.
Max Prime, you want to fill us in on that one?
So apparently, after how many seasons have they had now? This is like season 5 they're going on? Yeah, 5. So for the past 4 seasons, we all know that if you watch any of the CW superhero shows, Supergirl hasn't really kind of been up to speed with the other CW shows. They always seem kind of off, kind of awkward, not it doesn't feel like the Arrowverse. It always just feels off. So apparently the producers said that they were working on fixing Supergirl, and the trailer came out yesterday, and from the little changes from her, like they gave her a new suit. Like if you didn't see the trailer, they gave Supergirl a whole new suit that looks more Kryptonian, more Man of Steel like. Then
girlish.
Like they completely removed the skirt, like it's gone. She looks literally like the Man of Steel, like straight out of Krypton type thing.
They look actually functional.
Yeah, that. And
what do you think about that, DJ?
So this is back to being 2019, but not necessarily the same as the original comic. So kind of split decision here for me.
Well, it depends which version of Supergirl you go with, right?
True.
I guess. Just like anything else in DC when they revamp everything. Oh, I'm sorry. Did that sound malicious? Go ahead.
I just hope that when they said they're going to make some changes, hopefully they can maybe get it in sync, like with at least like the Flash. I mean, if they can kind of make it like the Flash a little bit, that'd be awesome. But I don't know if I could watch another season of Supergirl. I was just wrong.
Honestly, I'm not a fan of the show. I'll admit I only watched I think the first season. And then I believe after that they changed networks, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know, if it was that good to move to another network, shouldn't I have been involved, like emotionally involved, or at least like the first one in the first place? But I see her when she does the crossovers they do every year with the other CW shows, so I can appreciate that part. But one thing I will say that I did see, by the way, the trailer, because I'm gonna check it out if I can. Yo, Lex Luthor in his power suit. That was cool.
That was very cool.
That was pretty cool. I mean, they didn't show his face like they usually do, but
yeah,
I guess they had to make it somewhat like make more sense in a live version to cover his face. I don't know if that suit flies. I assume it will, but probably needs more protection than just chilling with his bald head. Just kind of like, yeah, I'm good. And they also mentioned Leviathan coming. I don't know if anybody follows the comics besides Max. Anything about Leviathan, but I only have fringe knowledge, so I'll be honest on that. I don't know if you follow anything, KJ.
No, let Max take it.
What's the deal about Leviathan? Because I'm reading some of the comics and I'm still confused a little bit.
Because it's supposed to be, DC's Year of the Villain. That's what the whole we're leading to is DC's Year of the Villain. I know that's going to be its own comic book. And also Event Leviathan, where there's a new villain who shows up into the DC universe who apparently wants to. I don't know if this villain is going to actually offer things to our villains and heroes in the DC universe, but it seems like it. Brand new character, and I believe isn't Bendis actually writing Event Leviathan? So
it sounds like he is.
Yeah,
he's taking control of a lot of the big story arcs. It sounds like the big picture stuff.
Yeah. Also, like I said, look out for the Year of the Villain for DC. So that's I guess the Batman Who Laughs, which I have up on my statue somewhere back there. He's become now the staple of you say the DC universe, where he's just completely trying to take over. And remember, he was straight out of the Dark Multiverse, which came out of Dark Knight's Metal. So yeah, the Year of the Villain is where all the DC villains, I guess, apparently are about to do a takeover. More interesting note is that I seen a comic yesterday about Black Adam, and one of them is called Year of the Villain Black Adam, and it's actually, remember, Black Adam is kind of like an anti-hero. He's sitting at home in his own country, Kandag, and he's sitting there because I think he's actually the hero in this villain book because an evil Billy Batson, who's been I don't know if everybody's caught up with DC Comics, but when the Batman Who Laughs came to our universe, he kind of infected people with his laughing type gas that turns people into his
what the hell
demon Robin and stuff. So he can literally turn anybody into a demon or whatever. Anyway, so what ends up happening is that when he infects Billy Batson. So basically in the Black Adam comic book, there's an evil Billy Batson that's on his way to Kandag to go and fight, I guess, Black Adam. So, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I still honestly don't know. I mean, really kind of get the whole Batman Who Laughs situation. I kind of get a generic sense of it, but I guess I'm not really into the know about why that's really that much different than just being in a multiverse. I guess I don't know. Max knows better than I do. I just follow his lead, and I kind of just, if he says it's cool, I'm like, I'm going to check it out.
It's their not a Control Alt Delete. What's an alternative to that where it's not a complete?
Use a Taskmaster.
Yeah, something like that. That's perfect. That's really good.
I don't know. I guess I've read some of the comics, and I'm still trying to catch up on comics. I'm probably about a month and a half, 2 months behind in comics right now. So it's first world geek problems, right? So that's what it is, right? Darn it, in real life, I got to work and things and have a family and friends, and damn it. But yeah. But I've been slowly catching up there, and I just don't get what his deal is. As creepy as he looks, which he does look freaking creepy. Yeah, I mean, last I saw Batman was kind of like, I don't know, he was trying to make himself crazier, almost to be on his level. Last I checked, if I remember correctly, and he put himself in a machine, and I don't know, he had the spikes on his eyes, and Alfred got pissed, and yeah.
So
I know where it was going. But anyway.
We could here's and talk Marvel real quick while Max was away from the screen, but now he's back.
I'm back. If you can see me, hello.
He jumped in there, cut that off quick.
So I was going to say, like, we are probably, because we are well over our time limit. We didn't even get into.
Huh?
Oh, so I guess we can talk Marvel since he's out of commission.
Right. It looks like he kind of came back. Max, you there? Are you?
That's all right.
I don't know.
Let's talk about it. I'm excited about.
Talk about some. He's frozen.
I'm excited about WandaVision. I'm excited about Hawkeye. Wait, whoa! What is that face? Why did you make a face when I said WandaVision?
Why is that such a weird name? WandaVision?
It's Wanda and Vision.
It sounds like I'm in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and he's talking about the big, shrinking the giant chocolate bars. What is this? Wonka Vision. I mean,
I don't know. I'm okay.
Why isn't that Scarlet Witch and Vision?
Actually, I'm pro Vision. Vision's one of my favorite Marvel characters. So.
Right, but I guess what threw me off, I thought that was just somebody saying what it was. I didn't realize that was the official name until I reread it. You know what I mean? It's like Wanda and they pause Vision. I'm like, but what are you doing here? Yeah. I didn't get. Why is it not Scarlet Witch and Vision? Is there a reason? Do you know if there's any reason behind that? Out of curiosity.
I mean, Vision only has one name, so maybe I don't know. It just sounds cool. I think.
Well, he's synthetic anyway. So, I mean, what do you want to call him? Jarvis Vision? I mean,
I don't know.
That threw me off. That's probably the one thing about that show that throws me off completely. As soon as they mention it, is that they're talking. It's WandaVision. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It sounds like one word. It does. But anyway.
So other than that, are you excited about any of the Marvel stuff coming?
Are you kidding me? There's a lot of stuff to be excited about. I mean,
from mine.
Let me tell you this much. I mean, when you look at that, I see you. And that's actually one of the things that they were talking about, Doctor Strange. Which, if you're going to talk about a kick-ass name of a movie, what's it called? I mean, I read to write it down because I didn't want to mess it up. It's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. That's the name of the movie. I'm like, wow. That drew me in as a fan right off the bat. But from what I'm hearing, it's actually going to be Marvel's first horror type show. It's going to be more mystical and horror verse as opposed to superheroes. So what do you think about? Did you hear anything about that at all, or what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Horror is not my favorite genre, so I'm not super excited about that. But I'm excited about all things him. So. I'm just
picturing the fact that it's magical, so there's other things that could be involved with it. So it's kind of introduces a different dynamic to it. Because let's think about it this way. Remember when the Ancient One first threw him into the astral projection, right? And he went through all those little worlds, like within a second, whatever it was. That was if you were going through that, you'd be scared.
Yeah,
that was kind of scary just for me from the outside looking in. So I was thinking to myself, okay, so if this could becomes a series, how much scarier it could get, really. So not to say it's real, but magic can get weird. So, and from what I understand, they're also going back to good old Miss WandaVision over here. Scarlet Witch is supposed to have a role there too, where the quote I heard was something, you're going to finally see the witch part of the Scarlet Witch come out. So it almost sounds like they're going to be a little bit more mystical with her as well.
I like it. I like all of it.
Yeah, I mean, she has that hex power stuff. So it's almost, I don't want to call it a waste because it's not a waste, but it seems like they focus more on her being powered by one of the Infinity Stones than having hex powers. So I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm curious to see if Quicksilver makes any kind of cameo in either one of those shows.
I was wondering the same thing, especially if, using her power. I don't know, with it being a darker type movie. So.
Well, I was thinking along the lines. Hi, Max. we just started the conversation without you. Sorry, we were talking about Doctor Strange.
Marvel is like I'm out.
So what I was going to say is, but with the loophole with the Quicksilver being shot up in one of the movies there in Age of Ultron is just that it's multiverse. It doesn't matter. So they could always bring him back, right? So I don't know. That was one of the things. Max, since we kind of just had a show conversation without you real quick, what's one show you're thinking of looking at from the Marvel side of it, an announcement that came out that really jumped out at you?
Wait, did you guys already talk about the movies already?
We just started. We met what you call it, the WandaVision name that I hate.
Yeah.
And we tied it into Doctor Strange. Those are the only two we talked about so far.
I know that we are like I was gonna say before I got cut off and everything. I had to like I just dropped out of the chat. But let's see, how much time do we have left? Do we have enough time? Like Chris, did you have time, or do you have to go?
4 minutes, yep. But you guys can continue.
Okay. Well, the What If really caught my attention as far as because that's gonna be like an animated series on I guess the first cinematic animated movie. What If? Because when they announced that, that kind of really caught my attention. I thought it was gonna be if that would have been a live action movie, I would have been blown away. Like, what? They're gonna do a What If? I used to read What If comics all the time back in the day. What if Peter Parker was a member of the Fantastic Four? What if Wolverine? What if Wolverine got the alien costume? That's just crazy. And I heard that they're gonna do the Marvel Zombies thing. I think they kind of teased that yesterday. Also, that'd be their first thing to do.
What If could only be done by animated, I could think of, just because the budget alone of getting all the other characters, I can imagine bringing back Chris Hemsworth, which they are going to do from what I understand, bringing back Chris Hemsworth for the voices. I see you. Bringing back, you'll probably introduce Tony Stark somehow in that way and bring back Downey for a voiceover for that, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, like I said, they're going to get a lot of the voice talents from the movies to do the animated, so looking forward to that.
KJ, what's another Marvel announcement that got you jazzed?
Black Widow, of course. I don't know if it's girl power. I don't know. I just am excited. I feel like that one's been a long time coming. When everybody had their own, of the Avengers, and she's the only Avenger that hadn't had hers. So that's kind of,
she's probably the only one who's been around from the beginning that hasn't gotten some kind of origin story.
Yeah.
And for God's sake, thank you for finally explaining what Budapest is going to what happened and what happened there and why it's so important. Because they mention it in every movie, don't they?
Ooh, yep.
Freaking Budapest. But I was really let down by, and you're gonna probably laugh when I say this, Red Sparrow with the freaking this girl doing it, J-Law, because it felt like it was a bootleg version of what the Black Widow story should be.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm jazzed to get a proper Black Widow movie out there. Scarlett Johansson is awesome. I love her portrayal of the character. I don't know. I'm with you. I'm thinking that was one of the big highlights of it, in my opinion. So
yeah.
I'm really surprised that Max didn't mention the one character I thought he was going to mention before.
Who did you think I was going to mention?
The man, the myth, the Daywalker.
Oh,
Blade.
Yeah, that was just like a shock. Like that was
I got
wow.
goosebumps. Look at this.
And it was an excellent casting because I'm thinking, I'm like, man, like that was
Yes.
on point.
I mean, he did a lot of stuff. I mean, he actually was Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage series. He also played the voice of the guy who played the Prowler in the Into the Spider-Verse, Uncle Aaron. He played his voice. He also was Academy nominated for what is it, Moonlight?
He's had a good couple of years. Yeah, I think he's hot right now too.
He's on a roll.
Right up there with
wasn't that he had an Oscar nomination recently with Viggo Mortensen? Was it Green Book something?
Yeah, Green Book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nobody talks about Green Book. Don't talk about Green Book.
The controversy.
Yeah.
Yo, man, how controversial could it be? It got an Oscar nomination. I mean, come on.
Well, anyway.
I'm just saying. What's controversial? Where to spend the money for it? I mean, geez, he basically made himself a career by his Oscar-nominated movies. He's good. Once you add Oscar-nominated to your resume, I'm pretty sure you won't be unemployed for long.
True.
Generic statement there, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Just one thing I was curious about. I don't want to say worried about, but I hope they do well. Is the Loki series?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they're picking up from Endgame, which essentially picks up from the first Avengers movie. So at the end of Avengers, basically where Loki pretty much escapes with a Infinity Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be weird to me. It's just too many parallels, and I don't know. It goes back to that time travel thing that we argue about using it too much. It almost gets to be, all right, come on, we get it. It's a different universe, but it's going to tie over, but it doesn't.
Right.
I guess they got to give something to Tom Hiddleston to do.
I think it'll be fine. I think they'll work it in. I think, like we were saying before with S.H.I.E.L.D., how it kind of wove in, it'll be just enough, but can stand alone. Like if you don't watch anything else and you only watch that one, it'll be a good story for those people that are Loki fans. So,
does Tom Hiddleston do anything besides play Loki and that one King Kong movie?
No, I like that King Kong movie.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. I'm just curious because I didn't bring up IMDb or anything yet to find out. But does he do anything besides those two roles? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking questions. I've never seen him in anything else besides that. So I don't know. I just don't see. Everybody's all over him about. Oh my God, he's such a good actor, and I'm like, he's Loki. I don't know his range yet. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. Well, I'm gonna go look him up on IMDb right now, and then I'm gonna go watch the Watchmen trailer. It's been fun, guys.
You gotta watch the Watchmen movie. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast today. Thank you so much.
That's KJ.
All right, KJ out. Bye.
Nice. Well, here we are, alone at last.
I know. And since you guys talked the Marvel movies, how are we going to wrap this thing up? What else is left?
There's a lot more.
What's left?
Would you like me to bring it up?
Yes.
I'm
please.
glad you asked. Go figure. I had my nice little wonderful.
Whoa. Nice.
Dude, why is this just now happening that we're getting a Shang-Chi movie, Master of Kung Fu? But the name of it is, and I don't know if you caught this, it's Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes.
You know who that is?
Yes.
Who is it? For the people involved in YouTube land, who is that referring to?
Mandarin.
The correct, the true Mandarin, not the guy that was in the last movie, the freaking drug addict actor. Who was funny as hell, by the way, played by Ben Kingsley, right?
And I was like, I seen the old tweets from the actual, what's the actor's name? Is he, because I know he tweeted like 2 years ago on Twitter, and he's like, oh, Marvel, you need to pick me to cast me as, Shang-Chi. And then they actually like casted the guy as Shang-Chi and stuff, which I seen, yesterday.
Oh, he's a Canadian actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's actually a Canadian actor. He had some other roles, like small roles. He's only been in acting for a few years. He hasn't been doing it for a long time. He literally, he lost his job or something like that, and just decided, oh, let me try acting for a year. And he got some couple roles by some kind of default. I don't know what it was, but so by luck, he got some roles, and now he's going to be the Master of Kung Fu. Probably Marvel's actually there. Yeah, there is their first major Asian lead character.
Yeah.
Which is a good time for it, right? It's been a crazy year for Asians, right?
Yeah.
It's like crazy, but because one of the movies is Crazy Rich Asians, but it's been a very good year for representation, I should say, right?
Yes,
And
exactly.
I've always said that if you do a proper Shang-Chi movie, it would be kick-ass.
Oh yeah, definitely. Did you guys already cover Doctor Strange? Did I miss that?
We touched on that, yes. Okay. It's actually going to be, we mentioned basically it's going to be Marvel's first really horror series now. They're going to verge a little bit away from the superhero-y stuff and get a little dark, and they're also going to introduce more of the witch version of the Scarlet Witch in that show.
Yes, because it's the post-Endgame version of Wanda and stuff, and yeah.
And I did mention how I hate the WandaVision name for that other show, WandaVision. It reminds me of freaking Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
So like what's that? WonkaVision.
Did you what's left on your Marvel list there? What's left?
Funny you mentioned it. Well, we can't miss the biggest star-studded one that's going to be supposedly the one with the big names in it, the Eternals. The Eternals is basically going to be another one of these cosmic type movies where basically Angelina Jolie's going to be in it, Rachel Weisz, what's his name? Hopper, the cop from freaking Stranger Things, is going to be in there. Wow. They're going to have a bunch of big names in that movie, basically to introduce the Eternals. So I think, in my opinion, I think that's going to be kind of used to introduce an more open cosmic type world that they can tap into, since they're already doing things like as Guardians of the Universe and whatever. Galaxy.
It's kind of like, wondering if there's going to be, remember what was that show? Was it The Inhumans? Remember that?
I'm trying to forget it, actually.
I was like, wait, they're going to do Eternals and like they had the Inhumans, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm just wondering how well that will do,
I was hoping that on some level Inhumans would be okay, but it was so terrible. I mean, I watched it just to see the train wreck go to a fiery blaze of glory and get out of there, and it was terrible. But Eternals, that's supposed to be a big tent post one. They also were coming out with, I know, what is it? What's his name? Why am I blanking out on dude's name? They're doing a Thor, Love and Thunder.
Thunder, yes.
For those who are unabridged of what it is, explain what the big deal about Love and Thunder is, Max Prime.
I think I could even sum it up by what happened yesterday when they announced Love and Thunder, and I guess like Chris Helmsworth was on stage, and I believe the actress who plays Valkyrie, yes, and they're on stage, and then apparently Natalie Portman, who of course played Jane Foster in the previous Thor movie, comes out on stage, and then she actually like picks up Thor's hammer, which possibly signifies the female Thor finally coming into the Marvel universe.
They are definitely doing a female Thor.
Yes.
Which is up until recently was one of her identities on this earth before she became a Valkyrie.
Yes.
So yeah, female Thor. I'm kind of not sure what to think about that one. I'm going to be honest with you. I have a big thing about characters appropriating the identities of other characters. That I'm like, you're just basically being that person. But I don't know. Girl power. What are you gonna do? I mean, I hope I don't sound like a dick when I say that. I just meant that. Okay, we'll give her a shot. I mean, how bad could she be? She's Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
I mean, she's a bomb actress. She's pretty good at what she does. I mean, what are you gonna do? But yeah, they did that. They're also doing a Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Yeah.
Show, which I'm kind of like, I don't get that as much. I mean, they're gonna make it a buddy cop show. I know they argued a lot in the Avengers, but
yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because like they even do that whole buddy cop thing during their interviews. You ever notice like most of their interviews, like when they get interviewed, they always act like they don't really like each other and stuff. And yeah, so their show, I heard that like Falcon, he's going to be wearing the Captain America costume.
I still can't believe they gave it to him before they gave it to Bucky.
Yeah, right. Like
Winter Soldier, technically, didn't he get it first before the freaking Falcon?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it felt more organic going to the Winter Soldier before Falcon, and I don't know. I'm torn on that one only because I just don't know what to think about it. But the one thing that I heard about that return of, spoiler alert, Baron Zemo.
Yeah, Baron. I always joke with a couple friends of mine because they always say the plotless Baron, the plotless Zemo from Avengers, Civil War. I'm sorry, Captain America: Civil War, and
same thing.
Yeah,
it's not all the same.
Yeah, and we always would like laugh about Zemo because like it seemed like he did everything for absolutely nothing. Like when I watched that movie, when you kind of like go back, rewatch it, and you think like, man, like Baron Zemo could have freed those like super soldiers in those like cells and stuff, but he didn't. He just like killed them all, and then
I didn't get that part either. I'm like, he could have controlled a whole bunch of Buckies.
And then he just like sits there at the top, and he's just like, yeah, I mean, I just did it just because I wanted them to fight each other. Like what? Like that whole like, wow, that's just. I call him plotless Zemo, but like the guy had no plot. He was just like,
am I talking to myself? Okay, you kind of froze for a second there. Sorry, I'm sorry. I was like, I thought I was talking to myself for a half second. I'm like, no.
No,
but you know what was cool about that though is at the end of that trailer, I mean at the end of that segment, there was a flash of Baron Zemo's mask.
Yeah.
Which I always said, why does it remind me of Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe?
He does. He looks exactly like Cobra Commander.
But he's purple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I'm reading about on right now in an issue of Punisher, him and Baron Zemo going at it. But that's kind of cool. Little side note, just saying, I'm actually trying to catch up on comics. Go figure.
Yeah.
Aside from that, Hawkeye. I forgot about Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye having a series. So yeah, so like just even before getting into Hawkeye, it seems like like everybody who was in the Avengers, movie, obviously there's not going to be another Avengers movie, so they're getting their own shows to kind of continue their stories, I guess, So
yeah. I mean, this one feels almost like a passing of the torch type thing. I mean, I was joking around with my wife, telling her it sounded like he's going to be Mr. Miyagi and what's her name, Kate, whatever her name is, Kate Bishop, because she's going to be in the show too. Then the female in the comics is a younger version of Kate Bishop, who's actually going to take over for him as Hawkeye. Well, it doesn't really take over. They actually act side by side because I've actually seen them on the same West Coast Avengers or something right now.
Yeah,
that's not too confusing.
No, not at all.
Not at all. It's just great. I don't see money grab there at all. But but I think for the most part, that looks like it could be fun. Jeremy Renner's a good actor.
Yeah, yeah.
He for some reason he makes Hawkeye work. He shouldn't. On paper, I'm looking at it like he shouldn't make it work. He makes it work. So I don't know, him being Mr. Miyagi to Kate Bishop and teaching her how to do all this stuff. I don't know. It works out.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they did they didn't have time for it, but they did mention, of course, that they are working on a proper Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, that. So well, here's the question. I'm like, okay. I mean, I get like you would have like, how do you recover from all the failed Fantastic Four movies before now? Like, I understand that. Yes, now it's back in Marvel Studios' hands. Yes, it's Phase 4. Everybody's excited now that Fantastic Four is home. How do you successfully do a Fantastic Four movie because it's been done like X amount of times previously? Do you just have to get like a superstar cast to be the Fantastic Four? How do you get people to watch Fantastic Four? Or it's just because it's under the Marvel umbrella again, people will just watch it? Or
I think the combination of that is just that, for example, like the let's see, Mr. Fantastic, I heard rumor John Krasinski from The Office, he's supposed to be playing him. His wife, Emily Blunt, supposedly, they're talking about casting her as the Invisible Woman. I guess the other two are really what you really got to worry about. You got to worry about, of course, what are they going to do with the Thing? I mean, because I thought they went with some Korg-looking thing the last time, which was terrible. Michael B. Jordan did okay as the Human Torch, but yeah, I didn't feel like there was any kind of you didn't make anything that made me emotionally involved, like involved with him. Like, okay, I don't know if he's going to die or anything, or he's good at it. Of course, then he turns around and kicks ass in freaking Wakanda as Killmonger. Go figure. I don't know. What are they going to do? Bring back Chris Chris Evans and say, "Hey, by the way, we're bringing you back as Fantastic Four because there's a multiverse." I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that it's back with a company that actually knows what it's about, and I don't know, they probably have a winning formula at this point. You can't argue with it. I mean, they'll figure out a way to make it work.
That's true. That's true. I mean, like, well, and then again, that's like I think the second thing that they mentioned a little bit was what Kevin, is it Kevin Feige? Was that how you say his name? Yeah. Where he was mentioning the X-Men
but just called it mutants.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I have a theory, actually. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
It's a quick theory. I'm not going to be here for top 5 hours because I could. I refuse to do that to you, buddy. My thing is, remember when they did the Infinity Gauntlet, the whole thing, the Infinity War, and blah blah blah, and everything, and the End Game. They kept saying that every time they use the Infinity Gems, it releases a huge amount of radiation across the world. Well, what are mutants? For a lot of them, it could be affected by mutation, by radiation. And I think somewhere, somehow, they're going to make that the entryway into the Marvel Universe for mutants. And they're going to probably say, okay, they're going to start with some version of mutants, maybe not necessarily the X-Men specifically, but they'll come up with some version of it that they can throw out there and say, okay, this is the beginning of mutant kinds or something like that. And that'll lead to something, whether they do it in this universe or if they make another pocket universe and somehow they come through or something. I don't know. But that's just my theory, because that's just something that I keep thinking it's almost an obvious plot device they could use.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, overall, when they move from Phase 4 to Phase 5, which is apparently, going after the Fantastic Four and going into possibly this X-Men thing, I was wondering, I'm like, well, what would be the perfect, like, how would they bring in the X-Men in? Would they tease like seeing like a man who's been running around in the woods with claws coming out of his hands, or like, oh, there's reports of a guy who could control metal and all type of stuff, and have like a scene of some guy floating and like Magneto or something, like, so I was just wondering, like, how were they bringing them in, and then where do you go from there? Like, I know they had the comic book series Avengers versus X-Men, I mean, how do you bring them in on a large scale, or do you just make their own solo movie? Like, you know what I mean? Like how like when they introduced X-Men the animated series and stuff, or is this their own show? And then like, do you just do a solo X-Men movie just to kind of bring them in?
I think that you almost have to introduce the concept of mutants before you can introduce them to everybody else. Technically, like, there are some Avengers who are mutants, who happen to be mutants.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. Quicksilver, the Beast, because everybody in the universe at some point has been like a freaking Avenger. Yeah. So the thing with that is it's just that you almost have to introduce a concept to that universe first before you can say, okay, now this is the X-Men and this is why it's such a big deal. It's almost, so I don't know. My whole thing with the radiation thing is just my gateway way of saying, hey, I think that's a plot device that they're probably going to insinuate, because the thing with Marvel is they do throw out a lot of Easter eggs. So, I mean, it's just almost a gimme there. They're almost like setting it up there like a softball right over the plate. It's already in there. Just use it. Just knock it out of the park now. It's just a figure out way of doing it. My whole thing is when they do Marvel is the Fantastic Four, rather. I really hope they get Dr. Doom right.
Yeah.
Because, he's like my favorite villain. Probably he should technically be the #1 villain everywhere, but I wrote a little blog spot about that, which I won't get into. But yeah,
well, I mean, and for me, like, I personally just wanted to like see a proper Galactus from the Silver Surfer stuff, and then if you have Fantastic Four, you're gonna get Silver Surfer, and I don't know if you're gonna get Silver Surfer involved eventually sometime down the road, but I always personally wanted a better Galactus instead of a Cloud.
You didn't want a cloud of space bees?
Or even, I was hoping, like, how about, like, since you guys they have control over Fantastic Four, when eventually Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 gets announced, why don't you tease a little, Galactus guy, out there in the universe, since our Guardians love to travel, to the far reaches of the universe and stuff, past and everything.
They did announce that they are working on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 yesterday. That's actually the last one I was going to mention in a second, actually.
Yeah,
and since they also, the last one, introduced Uatu the Watcher,
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So they can use him as narrator or something and saying, "Hey, here comes Galactus," right? Like they do in the comics.
I would even be satisfied with just seeing that. Like, they just fly by this huge like leg of a guy, and they realize they just flew by Galactus and stuff. Like that's just fine with me. That's all I need. Just closure. I don't even need like a movie revolving around him. Like, dude, just show me Galactus, and I'll be good.
Have them jump through one of those jump portals, and all of a sudden they see a big helmet.
Yeah,
behind a planet with a straw or something. Like, yeah, that was good. That's kind of cheap, but I thought it was funny. Whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got as far as Marvel goes.
Yeah,
those are the main ones. I mean, did you hear anything? By the way, you probably better ask this question than anybody else, and I know anyway. Why didn't DC go to San Diego this year? Was there a particular reason, or did they feel like they didn't have enough to really make a good presentation? Or I hate to say that way, but
I think DC. I mean, they of course have their hall there, like at San Diego. But as far as for presenting in Hall H, which is infamously known for companies to come in there and debut trailers and things like that, is that I believe that DC's presence there is only really just for the network, the DC universe. They're just there, presenting. Not only did the CW trailers hit, but there also were announcements yesterday about like when the Titans season 2 that debuts in September. Doom Patrol season 2 has been confirmed. No release date just yet. Yes, one of the greatest TV shows like ever.
I will go so far as to say that might be the best show on TV right now.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm not traditionally. I went in not really know a whole lot about them. I know a little bit about the concept, but watching the show was amazing. Diana Guerrero, is that her name? Who played Crazy Jane?
Yes.
Does freaking amazing on that show, and how can you not love Brendan Fraser coming out of nowhere?
Yes, and I was going to say because Diane Guerrero actually, because she was the one who confirmed yesterday that there will be a season 2. Thank goodness, But I mean, like as far as just the lack of presence at DC at San Diego, I just believe that. I mean, after Shazam, there hasn't been a movie really kind of slated with a really permanent release besides like Wonder Woman, but I mean, I think Wonder Woman 2 isn't coming out until like next year, the summer. So I don't really think DC had anything really prepared. Like, I mean, everything's still being worked on. Like Wonder Woman was still being supposedly worked on, I guess. I don't even know if did that even. I think that started filming, but
I'm pretty sure it did. I mean, 1984, right?
Yeah, 1984. But like, I don't think they even they don't even have a teaser for it yet. So like I think literally DC had nothing to bring to San Diego.
All these retro female movies like Captain Marvel happened in the 90s, they're putting back. It's her second movie, her solo movie, and it's still in the past. Yep. She hasn't moved up to an iPod yet or anything. I don't
know. And then I'm thinking like the movie, because then they had that the Harley Quinn, the Emancipation of Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey movie. They announced Ewan McGregor as like Black Mask, which people were talking about that. But again, they still haven't really filmed anything. So I really feel that this year is probably the first. Maybe there was another year where DC didn't have anything to bring. I mean, we forgot one. Did we talk about It Chapter 2?
No,
because Warner Brothers came there to San Diego with It Chapter 2. So basically, if you want to say that, if you want to count Warner Brothers as, that's the only thing that they brought to Comic-Con was It Chapter 2 trailer, and they debuted it there at Comic-Con. But other than that, the DC side of things, there's nothing.
Yeah, there is also. I was surprised that wasn't made more of a deal of. I saw there's also an animated Harley Quinn, but it's an adult version. It's like it's not like a little kid's cartoon. So if everybody out there is looking at the trailer, know that they do curse. And there's some sexual innuendo.
Yeah, he's dropping F-bombs. It's bloody. F-bombs.
There are nut shots, as far as hitting the nuts.
I'm thinking it's because it's also on the DC universe, because the DC universe gives DC the chance to be totally free with their shows, like Doom Patrol, where we spoke about Brendan Fraser being Robot Man, and he's dropping F-bombs constantly. I think Robot Man's favorite word is the F word. So every episode he's dropping the F word. But I think DC Universe just gave them the freedom to be like, you know what, we can just do whatever we want and do it like an adult animated, and there you go.
Well, you know what? All I'm going to say is after seeing Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm good. So, does anyone who's seen that not live for Batman versus Shredder? That's all I got to say. It's freaking awesome.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably the only takeaway I got away from it was the DC lack of big DC things going on aside from some show trailers.
I mean, I really feel like they don't really kind of. I mean, like if next year was going to be that year where they're going to have 2 movies, it would be Wonder Woman and then maybe that Harley Quinn movie because that's being filmed. But other than that, I mean, what else did they? I mean, everything's been changed now. Like their slate is no more. Like oh wait, we didn't even talk about the Joker movie that's coming out in October.
Which one? They're like 3 in production.
Like the Joaquin Phoenix one.
That have nothing to do with each other.
Like, yeah, that too. So, like, not even talk about the Batman and all that, but the Joaquin Phoenix movie that's coming out this fall. Like in a couple months, we're gonna see the Joker movie. But it's just weird. Like, my only and final thing about DC and the movies and all that stuff is that now I just feel like they're just gonna try to do what they did in the past, way before the cinematic universe, and that's just release standalone movies and hope they do well,
basically,
and just shove Batman. Batman.
Let's show his origin one more time because I haven't seen kills or anything.
Yeah, or just pull anybody from Batman's universe and just make a movie out of it. Harley or whatever, Joker, and just like Batman. That's what you got to do.
Man, I'm gonna stop before I get on a tirade because you know me. But it's pretty much my reaction to San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, really, it's just pretty much. Marvel came out last night with all these double barrel shotgun things going on here. They just came out saying, this is what we're doing. And then there was everything else. It felt like they took over Saturday, which is the biggest day. Whereas did they start on Thursday? Is that what it is? Or was it Friday?
I think they started on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday was really, that was day 3.
Saturday's the main day where the big stuff happens. And it felt like they took over. I mean, go figure behind the Disney machine. I can imagine. I guess that's a big reason why. But
well, I mean, compared to last year, because remember last year, like I don't think they were at Marvel wasn't at San Diego last year, and DC was where they had Shazam and they had Aquaman, and then Marvel wasn't really there. Even though Avengers Endgame came out this year, but last summer they didn't show up either. But I mean, this time really, it's like. DC got nothing, they don't want to come empty-handed, but they don't have anything.
Wow, that was just crazy. It's almost like comparable to why Sony didn't show up to E3 or something this year, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who just thinks, you know what, I'll just do my own thing, and whether good, bad, or indifferent, maybe that's what it is.
So, I mean, overall thoughts of San Diego before we go, because we're like we well beyond the hour mark now. Like we just wrap it up, I guess.
I think we should, because we talk any longer, I'm going to bore a lot of people with all the little questions and crap that I can come up with. I probably will. But my overall general thing, I'll just say this way. It's just like Marvel, if you want to call who the winner is, Marvel. I've seen the interwebs blow up with Blade love. Love for Blade. Getting a proper movie coming out since they haven't done anything with them. Too bad Wesley Snipes isn't in it. I wonder if he'll make... a cameo. That'd be kind of cool. But other than that, they finally passed the torch effectively. I don't know. That's all I got, really. I mean, other than the trailers. So that's about it.
I'm gonna say mine. I mean, overall, like, let's see, from the Thursday to the Friday, which again, the scene Terminator to the Star Trek announcement, yesterday, and I thought that was just going to be it. I was like, well, it hasn't been a lot of trailers, but then when Marvel took over Saturday, I said that, that's pretty much once they showed the slate and they just started dropping the, one after another, like Doctor Strange to What If to Blade, that was it. So I feel like overall, like this weekend, really, it's like Marvel. There's no other news to me that kind of like took over that weekend besides that. Like Marvel just dominated. I mean, besides the little CW thing with Brandon Routh, again, I'm really excited for Brandon Routh being, Kingdom Come Superman, but beyond that, I mean, like major wise, I mean, Marvel really just blew everybody out.
That sound like a grizzled old person when I say this, but does it feel more like San Diego Comic-Con has turned more into about movies and media than it has comics?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Usually they use this to also make big announcements on actual comic book events, you know what I mean? And things that are happening, which I don't think I've heard much of anything that's new coming down the pike for the next year or anything like that.
Well, and just to briefly say this, like quickly, like a lot of the even the comic book retailers that would come into San Diego, they were saying all the time like how, you know, since it's turned into a big media event, no one really cares about the comic books anymore. You know, so when people when guys actually go and rent those booths that actually, you know, where they're selling comics and merchandise and stuff, or like, you know, it's like no one really it's like everything is now focused really on these like movie announcements and these movie studios coming in, and you're kind of taken away from the original idea of like
of course material.
Yeah, you know, exactly. So it's like it's not really the same anymore.
I got you. Let's throw that out there. Just an observation, because I was thinking when we were talking about doing this, and we're talking about San Diego Comic-Con, we didn't really talk about any comics. We just talked about there's movies coming out, there's TV shows coming out, crossover this, crossover that, but we didn't really talk about any comics like we used to do that.
Yeah.
Just a thought. But anyway, I think we're good.
So, I guess follow Geek Wars. That's the plug. If you're on Facebook, it's the coolest. The center of all that is geek on
if
Facebook.
I may. Yeah. If I may say so. This is your boy Rico from Geek Wars. That's Geek Wars, WARZ, like zebra. Go to Facebook. You can request membership and answer 3 simple questions, and I'll more than likely say, yeah, come on in, because we like new, fresh discussions. We talk about all kinds of things. I'm talking daily, talking about things like comics, TV shows, pop culture, sci-fi, everything else. There's memes galore. I was like, whether you like them or not, and I'll just say you're welcome. So there you go, all over the place. You can even log in there. We'll show you how to contribute if you want to as well. But Geek Wars, and like I always say, so let it be written, so let it be geek.
And that's it. So that was the recap San Diego, unless we missed something during this live stream, because it's already like 3 o'clock now Eastern, probably 12 noon out there in California. So there might still be some more announcements, but definitely pay attention to the Twitter feed also, because we're on Twitter. Again, I'm at IamMaxPrime, and then Rico, you're SUAVE913, right?
Yes, sir. And you know, this is kind of weird. This is the first time we've actually done something like this in what, 2 years?
Yes, 2 years. It's been a long time.
Back in the Geek Casserole days.
Woo! So follow us. And again, links will be in the description on the video. Also, we're ending this podcast, video broadcast live stream of San Diego 2019 recap and news.
Like, comment, and share. More importantly, share. Sharing is caring.
And I guess we're out. Yeah, that's it.
Peace.